What would you do if your own child treated you like an ATM and called you family only when the money arrived? When I was young, my mother used to say something I never understood. She would smile softly and say, "One day you'll realize that love given without limits can still be taken for granted." I didn't understand those words until I became the woman living this story. My name is Margaret. I am 68 years old, and for most of my life, I believed that being a good mother meant never saying no, especially to my only son, Daniel. After my husband died, Daniel became my whole world. I raised him alone. I worked double shifts, skipped meals, wore the same coat for 10 winters just to make sure he never felt the absence of his father. And I was proud of him. College graduate, good job, married a woman named Emily. I thought my sacrifices had finally paid off. I was wrong. It started slowly, small things. Daniel and Emily said rent was high, so I paid it, $600 a month. Then they needed furniture. I bought it. Then groceries. Then medical bills. Then temporary help that somehow lasted 3 full years. Every month, without fail, I sent money. I told myself, this is what mothers do. I ignored the fact that they rarely visited unless they needed something. I ignored the way Emily looked at her phone when I spoke. I ignored how Daniel never asked how I was anymore. Love, I believed, was patience. One afternoon, I picked up my phone and called Daniel. "Son," I said cheerfully, "you mentioned your wedding plans last year. When is the big day?" There was silence. Then Emily's voice came through the speaker, calm and cold. "Oh, we already got married yesterday." I froze. "Yesterday?" I whispered. "But you didn't tell me." She laughed lightly. "It was very small. We only invited special people." Special people. Those words hit me harder than any slap ever could. I looked at Daniel, who was standing in my living room, avoiding my eyes. I had paid their rent, their food, their furniture, even helped pay for Emily's wedding dress. But I wasn't special? That night, I opened my closet. Inside hung a pale blue dress I had bought for the wedding, new shoes, a gift envelope with $1,000 inside. I sat on my bed and cried, not loudly, but deeply. The kind of cry that comes from realizing you were never as important as you thought. I told myself maybe it was just a misunderstanding, until I saw the photos online. Emily's parents smiling beside them, her siblings laughing, champagne, a celebration I was never meant to be part of. Exactly 1 week later, my phone rang again. It was Emily. Her voice was different this time, soft, nervous. "Margaret, the rent is overdue. The landlord is threatening eviction. You forgot to send the money." I stayed silent. For the first time in years, I didn't rush to apologize. Instead, I said calmly, "Emily, didn't you say you only invited special people to your wedding?" She hesitated. "Well, yes, but then I suppose I only help special people too." The silence on the other end was heavy. "Margaret, I don't understand," she said. "You've always helped us." "Yes," I replied, "and that's the problem." I hung up. That night, I did something I had avoided for years. I calculated. Rent, $21,600. Food and bills, $8,000. Furniture, gifts, emergencies, $6,500. Over $36,000. Money I had taken from my retirement, from my late husband's savings, from my future. And what had I bought it with? Not love, not respect, just silence. The next morning, I went to the bank. The manager looked surprised when I asked to cancel all automatic transfers. "Are you sure?" he asked gently. "Yes," I said. "I finally am." My phone rang again and again. Daniel.
Emily. Daniel again. I turned it off. For the first time in years, my peace mattered more than their panic. 2 days later, I came home and found them inside my house. They had used the spare key I foolishly gave them. Daniel sat with his head in his hands. Emily paced nervously, and a man in a suit stood by my dining table, holding my documents. "This is our lawyer," Emily said quickly. "We're worried about you." Worried. They wanted me declared mentally unfit because I stopped giving money. That was the moment everything became clear. To them, I wasn't a mother. I was an ATM with emotions. "Get out," I said, quietly. Daniel looked shocked. "Mom, we're just trying to help." "No," I replied. "You're trying to control." The lawyer warned me about legal consequences. I smiled. For 40 years, I managed my life, my home, and my finances. I am not confused. I am awakened. I threw the papers in the trash. They left angry, threatening, but powerless. That same week, I changed my locks, installed cameras, updated my will, and for the first time in decades, I spent money on myself. A haircut, new clothes, art classes. I reconnected with my sister, made friends with neighbors. I started living. Daniel and Emily tried everything after that: guilt, threats, even legal action. But they failed.
Because truth has a strength manipulation never will. The judge dismissed their case in minutes. He looked at my son and said, "Cutting off financial support is not mental illness, it's a personal right." I didn't feel victorious. I felt free. I haven't spoken to Daniel since. Sometimes that still hurts, but here is the truth I learned too late, and I hope you learn sooner. Being a good parent does not mean sacrificing your dignity. Love does not require financial pain, and anyone who values your money more than your presence was never family to begin with. I am no longer an ATM. I am a woman who chose herself, and that choice saved my life.